Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin. But the CoinsKid crew, so we've had a warning shot that's been fired on the retail top right now. So I think we are extremely close to this top for Bitcoin. And this is all playing out exactly as I expected. For anyone paying attention, I did say to you, I think this is a wave 3 we're in right now. We'll have a wave 4, final 5th wave, Bitcoin's done, and boom, we're in the bear market. So, you know, we've got a major warning shot right now on the retail top. So anyone calling for 400k, 500k Bitcoin, I think is talking out the bumhole. I think we're very, very close there to the top for Bitcoin. And at that point, this is where I'm taking full exposure to these altcoins. Now, a lot of people will be jumping up and down saying that this is the top, but I do need to see a little bit more data to suggest that. But we do, right now, we have a warning shot on the retail top indicator I've created for yourselves. How accurate is this particular indicator? So let's go through this, okay? So right now, what we've done, we've pierced the red line. And like I've said to you here, how does the retail top work? Whenever you see the blue line dip into the red dotted line sell zone, you sell your Bitcoin and run for the hills. So basically what I've done, and I did relay this yesterday, I've de-risked on some of my Bitcoin position, and right now I'm looking at alternative coins because I'm looking at coins that are lagging Bitcoin basically. So if Bitcoin is indeed bullish, which I think it is at the moment, structurally it's looking sound, and we're going through a correction right now as anticipated, a potential wave 4, then the next leg up should be very, very fruitful on a lot of these altcoins, okay? And then as we enter the alt season, this is where you're going to see the massive appreciation in altcoins, not necessarily Bitcoin. So basically, if Bitcoin runs somewhere, it could go to 100k, 120k, 150k, whatever, it's only a double. You know, I would much rather be exposed to something that's going to go 10, 20, 30, 40x, which is what you see at this point in altcoins. So again, there's no moontardism, bulltardism, beartard, whatever. I'm just trying to ride the waves here as best I can with you. So this is why yesterday I did outline why I'm taking some positions in XRP, okay, and swaps in my Bitcoin for XRP. Really, really simple. So I think we're very, very close to the top. If not, we've got one last leg here for Bitcoin, okay, and potentially right now we're going through some kind of wave 4 correction before the final 5th wave into the push up, into the 100k plus, which would be absolutely amazing, or lower than that. I'm going to give you the targets, and then boom, we're done on Bitcoin. At that point, we look for the A wave down, the B wave retracement, which is your alt season. Alt's going crazy, and that's it. We're cooked. The cycle's over, okay? So how accurate is this particular indicator? We'll take a look at this, okay? We've got the blue line piercing the red line. If we go back in time, this was a major warning shot yesterday. Look at that. And right now we're rolling basically. So it doesn't mean that the top is in right now, because the wave count I'm looking at is the fact that we've been in a wave 3, and right now we're entering a wave 4. We've got a final 5th wave, and then we're done. And I've shown you this count many, many times. So if I go to the left, you can clearly see that any time this blue line pierces this red dotted line, historically is a warning shot. So we did it just there. If you take a look, we're coming down the stairs, and this blue line pierced the red line. It was a warning shot that the top was in, if not very, very close, basically. So within a few weeks in October, look at that. In 2021, we topped. This dropped, and then boom, you know, the inverse correlation played out. This came down the stairs, and this came up the stairs. So that was a major warning shot. Look at that, going back in 2021. So if we go back even further, what we've got here is a bang on the money top. Look at that. So that was April 2021. Bitcoin came down here, the retail sentiment, look at that, came down, pierced the red dotted line. That was it. That was in. Your top was in. Now, obviously, it could be in right now, but I don't necessarily count 5 waves to the upside. But obviously, I'm looking for more data. I'll show you the structure of that particular 5 wave count as well going forward, which will actually create, you know, the top signal and confirm that the loss of this red dotted line right now is your top. So I don't necessarily think it is. It doesn't mean I'm a bull-tard, a moon-tard, whatever, but I think the top is very close with the wave count that I've got right now for Bitcoin, okay? So basically, we pierced that. Look at that. That was an absolute pinpoint top. Look at that, beautiful. And then we rolled into the big crash and correction. So if we go back to the 2017 cycle, go back as far as you can right now, and you can take a look at how accurate it was there as well. So the blue line, as Bitcoin was come up in November, which is pretty much where we are right now, we created a warning shot just there. So the sentiment dipped below the red dotted line. There's your warning shot that the top was in, if not very, very close. And then we continued for a few weeks with a blow off top, and then we rolled into that huge, huge crash right there. So the warning shots were there. This is what I'm trying to say to you. So if I look at that time here, what was the opportunity? It was altcoins. If I look at this time here, you know, in April 2021, what was the opportunity? It was altcoins. And then November, it was altcoins. And right now, this is why I'm telling you, the fact that what we've got this piercing right now, the blue line piercing through the red dotted line, is a warning shot that, okay, Bitcoin's running out of steam. We should be looking at opportunities in altcoins. And this is something I've been conveying to you for many, many months right now. So I think the stage is set for the final leg in Bitcoin, and we're getting an indicator, the retail top, that is giving us the major clue. Now, it doesn't mean this is it, the top's in. We need to see a little bit more data to get too excited about that. But I do think the top is very, very close. So So I'll go through the wave count with you right now on Bitcoin and what we could experience in a wave 4 correction and then the final 5th wave before we do get the true alt season. Let's dive in, okay? So looking at tether dominance, equally with the retail top, we do see something in this tether dominance chart right now. So obviously, I would love to tell you 100% that we are going to break down on this tether dominance, okay, and lose this low, which I think would be incredibly bullish for Bitcoin going forward, and obviously crypto. But at the minute, I just have to respect this trend line, this neckline that we're bouncing off right now on the tether dominance. We've got the technical target that's been met just there for this particular chart. This descending triangle, like I said to you, get really close to the apex. We traded this. It's come back down to the target, which is equal to the neckline. And right now we're finding a little bit of support as Bitcoin looks as though, you know, it's running into a bit of a brick wall and beginning a correction. And we're seeing that across the board. So respectfully, at the moment, the data is winning, isn't it? So we need to see the data broken, in my opinion, to get extremely bullish. Now, I do think there's a chance here. We've had some kind of 1 into a 2, into a 3, into a 4, into a final 5th wave, which is coming down like this, and we will sweep this low. If we see this, then okay, all the data is broken. This trend line that goes all the way back here, you know, to 2017, where this finds support and this rolls, finds support and this rolls, this finds support and this rolls, finds support and this rolls once more, and then equally way back here in March, it found support and this rolled again. If we're respecting the data, then, you know, this is where Bitcoin should be looking to do something like this and begin to roll, okay, because of the data that precedes this particular support point right now. But what I'm looking for, if the data is broken, which I would love to see, then we should in theory be looking to, you know, the tether dominance to sweep that low, to put in this drop like this that loses this neckline. At that point, Bitcoin is absolutely going berserk and going ape, you know, going mental. And at that point, like I said to you, I think it's unchartable. The only thing we can do is just rely on fibs. And at the moment, there is a fib that Bitcoin's running into, the 1414, which I relayed to you. So I've got a theory right now. I don't necessarily think, and I could be completely wrong, just given the data and respect the data that I have to give, obviously, data over everything, what I'm looking at is really, really simple. I think we've hit a top here for Bitcoin, okay? Pretty much like that top just there in, I think it was February 2021. We found support on this neckline and we went sideways in a range, creating a double bottom down here. But then we created this bearish rising wedge, which we traded. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. We don't necessarily see any bearish, you know, pattern at this point. So we're possibly going through a wave 4 correction, come back up, start to look a bit toppy as this is holding this support in a reversal pattern once more from left to right, and then that's it. We enter the bear market. We enter that big ABC for correction, and that's what I'm looking at as a, you know, if I was to look into the future and try and predict the future on what's happened before on this particular chart, then that's what we're looking at. But the invalidation, I think, is really simple. All we're looking for is for this to break down, turn this into resistance, sweep this low, and then Bitcoin is absolutely going vertical, and, you know, crypto's in a vertical blow off top right here. It's going insane, and the only thing I can, the only way I can chart it, I can't look at data anymore. I can't look at retail tops. I can't look at indicators. The only thing I can do is look at, you know, the Fibonacci targets, and that's it. That's all I can do. So, you know, the data will be out the window at that point, okay, and then it's just purely relying on, okay, a big toppy pattern for Bitcoin and overextension and greed and FOMO and things like that. That's all I can look at going forward. But at the minute, you know, I've just got to respect the fact that we are doing what we've done before. We are finding a level of support just there, like we did 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 just there, and like we did just there. And, you know, what happened at them points? There was only one point that Bitcoin continued to go higher, and it was in this impulse here, you know, right on cue, February 2021, sorry. It had the ABC correction coming back, then it created the blow off top, and then rolled into this big crash, this big ABC. So this is what we're potentially looking at right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and within this final 5th wave, possibly some kind of 1, 2, this is a 3, 4, 5, pretty much like that wave just there, and then, you know, this creates a reversal pattern here and begins to come back upstairs, and then this drops. That's what I've got to respect. That's the data right now. So the opportunity, if that is the case, way back here, the opportunity was in altcoins, not Bitcoin, because it was running out of steam. So right, that's what I'm trying to convey to you. If we're in this alt season, if we, you know, we're looking at Bitcoin rolling over right now, going sideways in a toppy pattern, and it's exhausted basically, you know, we should be looking at the clues in this chart to do something like this, going left to right, and we should be looking at altcoins as the opportunity, which is what they were there, basically. Really, really simple. But right now, let's dive into the Bitcoin chart to see if we have any clues to what's going on right now, okay? So looking at Bitcoin on the hourly time frame at the moment, we've got this level of resistance which is right on cue, and I've relayed this to yourselves and the CoinsKid crew in the Discord. Look at this trend line, this neckline, resistance there, rolled into correction, resistance there, rolled into this correction. So this was a perfect ABC which we traded, and I did lay down a wave counter as well. We've got a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5, an ABC, a 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a 5, and then we bolted back test this resistance, which is basically a bump and run, and then we broke out towards this red trend line where we're finding resistance like we did there and like we did there, where we had had this ABC correction, this ABC correction. So right now I think we've potentially hit an ABC correction across the board here for Bitcoin and crypto, right on cue, running to this resistance trend line, which is 1414 fib, and equally seeing the correction across the board in a lot of these altcoins as well, which have broken out. So I would love to see, and this is, there's no bias here, I would absolutely love to see Bitcoin shove its fingers up to the perma bears, okay, including myself, and invalidate the data that, what we see is Bitcoin absolutely bust a move and break out and go vertical, taking out this resistance point, and then truly entering price discovery. And then obviously with the tether dominance, which is coming down to that support line right now, and finally a bit of support where typically we do start to see Bitcoin looking a bit toppy, it breaks through it, and it breaks through it, flushes through it, then that trend line that goes back to the previous all-time high in 2017 is at the table. We can no longer look at that as a data point going forward, okay, and then all the data is out the window, which would be absolutely amazing. But I think it's very risky here at this point, to basically look at Bitcoin as a trade. I think that, the trade is in altcoins, and this is something I'm relaying to you on a daily basis, and so far so good. I converted some of my Bitcoin into XRP, and at that point I'm doing incredibly well on XRP. Now XRP's done something which technically is really bullish that no one's looking at, okay, so I'm looking at that. I think it's a technical target. I think going forward XRP has got more appreciation than Bitcoin, and that is simple as that, and this is why I'm exposed to XRP over Bitcoin. Really simple, and it's something I relay to you, okay. So going forward, potentially some kind of ABC wave forward correction that comes back down, shakes everyone out, have a final fifth wave coming up, looks a bit toppy, and then you roll into the bear, which would be absolutely amazing there for Bitcoin. But I'm looking for the invalidation of that theory going forward, okay. So let's zoom out on the daily time frame to see what we can see for Bitcoin going forward, okay. So I think what we've done here, we've had the ABC, the WXY correction, we've had a 1 into a 2, and right now it's your third wave coming up, possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves coming up, and then right now we're into a wave 4 correction, final fifth wave coming up, goes sideways, rolls into the bear. Really simple, and you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, move up, and then your bear market after that. Now what we should be looking at is if we roll into the bear, we get the A wave down, the B wave high. This is where your alts go absolutely berserk, leading towards the end of the year right here, into the new year, and then we roll into the bear. Beautiful little move right there for Bitcoin, okay. So on Fibonacci at the moment, all we can do is chart Bitcoin. So I'm looking at the moment, you can clearly see we've busted through the 1.272 here, and right now I think we could be looking at 95k for Bitcoin before a potential bear market comes here, okay. So 1, ABC 2, and then we've got this 3 wave which is coming up right now, possibly cooked, looking at 4, final fifth wave, and then we roll into the bear like this. So this is the price section I'm looking at. I don't necessarily think we could be looking at 100k plus Bitcoin unless the data is broken, i.e. the retail top is broken, and obviously the tether dominance is broken as well. So this is what I'm looking at, a minimal 1.618, 95k Bitcoin before we roll into the bear market. And not a lot of people want to hear that, but like I said to you, at the end of this you will begin to run out of steam here. You will have some kind of 1 into a 2 into a 3 into a 4 into a final fifth wave, which does begin to eventually roll out of steam. And if we drop the fibs on from the bottom of that crash in November to the top, you can clearly see the 1.272, which is final fifth wave target, is roughly lining up with the 1.618 as well. So I don't necessarily think we're going to see 100k for Bitcoin going forward. I think the play is running out of steam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 setup, roll into the bear market, and in this cluster here, this right now is where the opportunity is in altcoins. Now I could be completely wrong, and hopefully I am wrong, with this analysis, that we do see 100k plus Bitcoin. I think it'd be absolutely amazing if we do, but we are running out of steam here on Bitcoin, okay, and this is where I'm taking opportunities in altcoins that are lagging Bitcoin. I hope I come back tomorrow and Bitcoin's broken out, it's gone vertical, and it's stuck out of the resistance points, and I'm completely wrong. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay off, stay strong, stay tuned. Take care everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Bye bye.